I'm Leona Dooley, and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme in the kitchen. And in the kitchen, we work hard, love God and family, and know without a doubt that everything else is just gravy. Today in the kitchen, we are going to work with those tomatoes that I purchased. I know you thought in the grocery haul that I had absolutely lost my mind in buying so many tomatoes. But the reality of it is that I'm going to get several meals out of those tomatoes. And this is day 2 of the use of those tomatoes. So we're going to be using them in a salad tonight. And you know, we've already used them in a salad, a different salad. We've also used them in the oven and oven roasted them, made a delicious pasta dish with them. And guess what? I've still got tomatoes left over. So we're going to be using those tomatoes this week. So first of all, let me say that I am so grateful to each of you for viewing, for new subscribers, and I just love having your comments and being able to respond to those. It's so much fun. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to take the time to do some extra things, I hope, this week. That's my plan anyway. And I hope that you will be with me on that journey. So, without further ado, let's get down to cooking.
I would be remiss if I did not take the time to remind you to practice safe measures when you're in your kitchen or when you're out and about and dealing with the problems related to the coronavirus. So please read carefully and move accordingly. Now let's get to those ranch chicken wings.
I purchased some little petite potatoes, and it's called a petite medley. There are a variety of different potatoes that are in this bag. We're going to zhuzh them up just a bit. So I placed them inside of this container. I'm going to add some oil to it, some sun cocoa, which is sunflower and coconut oil mixture. I'm just going to drizzle a little on top. I'm also going to sprinkle in a teaspoon of ranch dressing. That's powdered ranch dressing. So I'm first going to slice them in half because I want as much of that surface available to get the dressing all over it. My plan is to put them in a skillet and a cast iron skillet so that they can cook in the oven while the wings are also cooking. Now, to be honest with you, because of their size, they're going to probably cook about the same amount of time as the wings. I'm going to start them off by themselves because I want them to toast up and to brown up, and then I'm going to go back and add in some onions because, after all, if you're going to have roasted onions, or if you're going to have roasted potatoes, you want onions as well. So I am going to add those at a later time. So I'm just cutting these in half, each of these, giving them a little slice, and they're really very pretty and very colorful. So I thought, hey, why not? Sometimes at the grocery store they're a little pricey, but today they were just the right price. They were on special, and so I was able to get them. You know, I told you it's that time of the year when you go into Kroger, be sure to go through the vegetable section and see what they're running on the special and make your menu around that. So I'm just taking my hands, and they are clean, taking my hands and just kind of mixing those potatoes in the oil so that everybody gets covered. And I'm going to wash my hands real good. with clean hands, we're going to continue with these potatoes. So let's look at them. Everything's ready to go. All right, this is my package of ranch dressing. So I'm just going to open those and open it. And I had really thought about just sprinkling a little in, and you may certainly do that, but I don't know about you. Sometimes I'm just a little bit heavy-handed, so I went and got a teaspoon to make sure that I could tell you exactly how much I used. So this is 1 teaspoon that I'm placing in this container. So we're going to get it all mixed up, and it did take a little bit to get all of the potatoes covered with the dressing. So you'll see that I'm giving it a shake and a shake to keep it going. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to add in some pepper, because while the dressing, the ranch dressing has lots of seasonings, it sometimes lacks a little bit. So I'm going to add a little pepperoncino in as well. Not really to make the potatoes hot, but just to give them a little bit of extra spice. As you can see, I didn't put in but a tiny bit. So all of that's there. So I'm going to shake one more time to just make sure that everything's covered. So shake a, shake a, shake a. Let's get it on. This is one of those meals that I love because it's going to move along very quickly. Now, here's our skillet that we're going to be using, and I put this skillet into the oven as it was warming up. I put it in the oven as it was warming up, and I have the oven on 425 so that it's nice and hot. And in fact, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but when I added the potatoes, you could actually see the sizzling. So I had to be very careful with that, and also careful that I did not put my plastic container accidentally on the stove. Now, I don't know if you can see, but if you look closely, you'll see that the oils are kind of simmering. And what I'm doing is that I'm turning all of the potatoes face down, cut side down, so that it will be in contact with that skillet and also closer to the elements within the stove. So I'm going to turn them over, and I'm doing this because I want that side to be very, very crispy. And about halfway through the cooking time, I'll flip them back over, and we'll work on the other side. So everybody should be very happy. So let me put that glove on because I'm real good at touching hot surfaces sometimes, and not really being careless, but I just bump into them. So we're going to move things out of the way, and we're going to continue on. Now, I'm going to take my bag and get it open, and I'm going to add in the chicken wings. And the chicken wings have been thawing, and what I'm going to do is to put that entire package in and then give it a flip. And as you can see, the wings, while they are mostly thawed, they're not totally thawed. So I'm going to take that piece off. I have to work with it just a little bit. I'm going to have to wash hands again because I do not want to spread any type of disease. So I am just breaking those wings apart. And the advantage of the bag is to try to keep all of the chicken juices inside the bag. And look what happened. He jumped out of that bag. What do you think about that? So that means that I'm going to have to add a little bleach and start cleaning as soon as we finish up. So I'm going to sprinkle in this time the rest of that envelope of ranch dressing. I'm going to do one side, flip it over, and do the other, which will allow for those wings to have good coverage. So I'm going to zip it up, And then I'm just going to massage, so to speak, those wings and get that ranch dressing on each of them, because I want each one to be well covered. And I can tell you, they turned out delicious. And on somewhere close to 425. You might, if your oven tends to run excessively hot, just keep checking. If you need to cut it back to 400, then certainly you can do that, because you don't want them to brown too fast. And if it browns too fast, then you're going to end up with the outside looking beautiful, but the inside is not going to be cooked. So between 400 and 425 it is a good range. I have even gone down to 350 when I had plenty of time to play around with it, but I didn't do that today. I wanted to move along and to show you that you really could get this done within the whole meal in less than an hour. So I'm putting on some nonstick foil, and that's certainly your choice. If you have one of those, what do you call it, a grill, the little grill thing that you put inside of these pans, I can't think of the name of it right now, the racks that you put in, you could certainly add one of those. But you know what? I could add those, but I would have the nonstick foil underneath, because there are going to be juices and you want to try to keep your pan as clean as possible. So I'm taking just a little bit more of my sun cocoa oil, and drizzling it on the pan. I'm going to use a brush, and I'm going to brush the oil over the entire surface. And the reason for doing this is because I want all of the surface to have oil on it. And while I want those wings to come off the pan very easily. And even being a supposedly non-stick foil, you may have just a slight bit of sticking, just because we've got the ranch dressing on the wings. So it has a tendency to stick. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to avoid a little bit of that. And I think it did pretty good. So I'm putting my cutting board away, putting it into my hot bleachy water. And what I usually do is add about a tablespoon of bleach into my dishwater. And that helps me to set up a good environment for cleaning and for keeping germs away. So I'm going to get those wings out, and I'm going to put them skin side up. And the reason for doing this is that I want the skin side to brown, of course. All right, I'm working on just getting those wings turned over, each one, and it just takes a minute. I'm using the spoon that I had for the ranch dressing to flip them and get them placed on the pan, and try to spread them out as much as possible. I'm going back just like I did the potatoes and adding some pepper, some pepperoncino on each one. And you can decide if you want extra seasoning, because you know your family. So all of that is catered toward my family. But if you want more, you can certainly do that. So I'm just sprinkling a little bit of pepperoncino on each one. And I didn't want to have an accident and have too much plop out on the wing. So I decided to just put some in my hand and sprinkle from there. And that was a lot easier. Then that way you control it. So we're just sprinkling that little bit on.
All right, we'll do a little quick cleanup, and we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to wipe off the bottles, and now we're ready to get the wings into our 425 oven. 425 oven. Then everything is going to need to be cleaned and ready. Now here are those potatoes, and remember I told you I was going to let them stay in the oven a while, and that I would add onion. So I just took one onion and sliced it up, sliced it in half, and then sliced the half in little small pieces. So I'm just sprinkling those onto the potatoes. I'm going to season them just a little bit, and I'm seasoning the onions because you know everything else is seasoned. So we're going to just sprinkle those in. We like lots of onions, so as you can see, so I'm using the whole onion. Plus I don't want a lot left over. So give it a little shake with some pepper, just a tiny bit of salt, and we're going to be good to go. So I'm going to put those right back into the oven. Now what I decided to do when I gave it a shake and nothing was moving, now I should have thought carefully and decided not to do this, but I decided, well, I'll go ahead and give it a stir. And you know, to be honest with you, I'm saying that I probably should have rethought that move, but you know what, as it turned out, the potatoes were brown and crispy anyway, so it really did not matter. So I can tell you, if you stir the onions early, you're going to be fine no matter what. So everybody's happy and going back into that 425 oven. So I'm putting that in, and then I've got to wipe down all the surfaces because you know we've dealt with chicken, we've done all those good things. So I'm going to do a little cleanup. So let's work on that salad. I've got my cucumber, and I'm going to do something a little different. I'm using a fork. I've got my fork, I've got my knife. I'm going to trim the ends off. The cucumber has already been washed, and what I want are some cute little wavy lines on my cucumber. So what I'm going to do is to take the tines of the fork, and I'm running it through the skin of the cucumber all the way down, and I am going into that cucumber. And what that's going to do, when you slice it, it gives it a ruffled look. So I am just taking my time and doing that all the way around this cucumber. And once I'm finished, then I can slice it. So we'll slice, slice, slice. I hope you'll be able to see. I tried to get some slices and actually show you what they look like. So you can see it has kind of a ruffled look around it. It makes your salad so pretty. So anytime you want people to think that you've really done something very hard, and when you're preparing your salad and when you're doing something special, and it doesn't really have to be special, but I just wanted a little special touch in the salad tonight, in our cucumber salad. So that's why I chose to do this. So I am slicing this cucumber, and I guess you can tell, once I buy cucumbers and tomatoes, I'm going to use them up. And you know, we have to think about that. Fresh vegetables must be used, because otherwise they will eventually go bad. And the thing about cucumbers is that they don't freeze well. I can certainly freeze a tomato and use it in some type of tomato sauce, but I can't do that to my cucumbers. So I'm going to take these cucumbers, this is just for one night, and sprinkle them into the dish. Now, look at the size of the dish. You're going to laugh. Okay. I needed a larger dish, but I didn't do it. So my little Romas, I had about 4 Romas left. Now this device is strictly for doing 2 things. I use it for slicing tomatoes when I want those slices all the same, And I also use them for slicing eggs when I want the egg slices to be the same. And you'll see that when I fan these out, they come out perfectly. Perfect little slices, all exactly alike. And I'm doing this tonight, and I'll probably do it quite a bit so that you can see, because when you're preparing a salad, sometimes you're preparing a salad and it's just for you and your family, and they may not care. But when you're preparing a salad and perhaps you're taking it out somewhere, you will want a pretty salad. So this just makes all of the slices nice and even. And it's so funny because I've had people to go, "How did you get those slices so even?" This is also a great tool that when you're slicing the tomatoes that you're going to use on your hamburgers, this is a great way to be able to do that and do it quickly. You saw how quickly that happened. Now, I've got some, I'm not making dressing tonight. I've got some zesty, robusto Italian dressing that we're just going to drizzle on top. I'm keeping it simple. I'm keeping it simple tonight. And so we're using our zesty Italian. Sprinkle a little pepper into the salad. That's something we like. Not a lot, you see. And just a pinch of salt. And we're good to go. So I've prepared that. I'm not ready to have dinner yet. I want that dressing to drizzle through the tomatoes and the cucumbers. And my little dressing, I'm trying to give it a shake to get that dressing down. But that's it. That's it, guys. Oh, 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 oh. Look at these potatoes. Aren't they beautiful? They're hot. They're ready to go. Look at how they're kind of sticking a little bit on the bottom. Those potatoes are going to be so good. There's one out of the oven. Woohoo! I'm going to have to eat him, I think. I might have to try. See how he's nice and golden, but not burnt. He's going to be mine. All right, so our potatoes are ready. And really, if you wanted to do this even for breakfast or brunch, you could just do more and use whatever kind of potatoes you wanted. All right, there's our wings. They're out of the oven. And you see what I was talking about? It's a good thing we had the oil, because what that's going to do is that it's going to allow us to get those wings out fairly easily. So I got the spatula, and I'm just going to wiggle them. And because I had flipped them over, so I wanted them nice and golden, and they're hot. Hot wings. Now, I didn't want any additional sauce or anything. You could certainly have ranch dressing on the side and dip, but that wasn't what I wanted, and we didn't do that. We just took we had our potatoes, we had our ranch house wings, and you're going to see we put together our salad, and the plate was delicious. So I'm going to get that salad onto the plate. There we go. We're just going to kind of pick things up. I like more cucumbers. Honey likes more tomatoes. So, you can spread them out, but once that dressing gets on them, each little piece is delicious. So there's one plate. Check, check. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to cut a little bit off. Give it a taste before I get ready to pass it on. That is so good. Yummy, 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 yummy. Okay, guys. I hope you have had a wonderful time in the kitchen. And I hope you're going to try those ranch house wings, because I promise you, they're quick, they're easy, and your family will love them. They work well as an appetizer as well as a part of a meal. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the kitchen here at Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. Blessings to you, and I'll see you soon right here.